Hi there, my name is Londa Morris, and I'm here to give a quick presentation about some different types of childcare facilities and different types of funding that are currently available. Okay, so there are several steps involved with licensing your childcare facility. A great place to start is by contacting the Regional Health Authority Community Care License Facility Office for your region. If you're located in the Kootenays, then you can see I've provided the phone number and email for Interior Health Authority. So one of the next things you want to do is look at the childcare licensing regulations and check to see that your space meets the regulation requirements, looking for things like making sure that you have the correct square footage for different parts of your childcare facility to make sure that your space is suitable. And there are space requirements for both indoor and outdoor space. We, as part of this childcare program, there is going to be a workshop next week with the licensing officer, so you'll be able to access information directly from the source about what kind of requirements are in place. The next step is to create a budget, and again, we're going to have a workshop on that in this program. It's also important to check with local government, including business licensing, zoning bylaws, fire inspections, because there are certain types of zoning bylaws that might prevent you from having more than 8 children, for instance, in a residential home is a common zoning bylaw. You'd also want to meet with the fire inspector because there might be some rules around how many exits you need to have and access to windows for fire escape in case of an emergency. You'll also want to consider what kind of training you have, and I am going to talk a little bit here about the types of childcare and the types of training that would be required, and I'll also cover a little bit of funding available that is available for different types of programs that you would need to go into some of these educational programs. And you also want to consider if you're going to hire staff for your program, and you'll need to complete a criminal record check and apply for a community care license for your facility. So becoming licensed, you must meet specific requirements for health, safety, record keeping, space, equipment requirements, child to staff ratios, and programming. And it's important to know that you will be regularly inspected by regional health authorities. Okay, so for infant toddler care, this is for serving children under 3 years of age. The maximum group size for an infant toddler license is 12 children. And the staff to child ratio, if you have 1 to 4 children, you would require 1 infant toddler educator. Now, if you're going to add another 4 children, then the requirement would be 1 infant toddler educator plus an ECE. If you add another 4 children, then you would have to add another ECE educator assistant. I have some information down at the bottom here, but how much time you're looking at to spend in training to acquire each of these different types of certifications. Preschool care is another kind of license type, so be for children 2.5 years of age to school age. And the maximum group size for this kind of care is 25 children. If you have 1 to 8 children, you would have one ECE. If you add another 8 children, then you need to have an ECE assistant. And up to 25 children, you would require 2 ECE assistants and 1 ECE, obviously. So for group multi-age licenses, you would need to have, you could have up to 8 children. 3 of those need to be under the age of, or 3 of those can be under the age of 3, and you would need to have 1 early childhood educator. Just a quick note about that is that we would recommend if you are not, if you're going to have staff hired for these roles, that you would need to consider things like employment standards to make sure that you are giving staff lunch breaks and considering things like if somebody's sick, who is going to be able to fill in. If you are going to be hiring ECEs, it might be wise for you to also consider getting your ECE at least assistant so that you could provide backup support in the case of vacation, illness, or breaks that would need to be provided for those ECE educators. Family childcare is another kind of childcare that would be provided to children from your home. from your residence. So you must be living in this residence in order for it to be termed family childcare. And you can have up to 7 children. Now, if you are an ECE, you can actually have up to 8 children. And the staff-to-child ratio is 1 responsible adult who's also the licensee for 7 children. And like I said, 8 if you hold an ECE certificate. There are some other conditions here. You have to be 19 years of age or older to be able to provide childcare and mature guidance to children. You also must have 20 hours of childcare related training, relevant work experience, a valid first aid certificate, and a clear criminal record check. License not required. This is when a circumstance where you would register, but you would not be required to obtain a license. So you would still register with the Child Care Resource and Referral Center and be eligible to receive support and information from them. You would complete your criminal record check, character references, a home safety assessment, first aid training, and child care training courses or workshops. So the real benefit of that is being able to access support, training, and resources and group liability insurance. License is not required. So this would be a circumstance under which you would take in children. You can have up to 2 children or sibling group who are not related to you. So if you have 2 of your own children, for instance, or 3 of your own children, then you could take an additional 2 children who are not your own. So you would, in this circumstance, not be registered or licensed and would not be monitored or inspected. And there are no health and safety standards that you would need to meet, but parents and guardians, they would be responsible for overseeing the care and safety of their children in these care arrangements.